The United Way's name and how we're often seen in communities over many years has been largely around collective fundraising and then allocating that money out to nonprofits. At our core, it has really been around the kinds of relationships across sector that can come together and think about what can be done together to make things better for people. We also got really clear that we have a pretty broad agenda. Making life better for everyone sounds like nirvana, right? But what we focus on is how do we create an opportunity for better life? And how do we focus on three key building blocks for a good life: education, financial stability, and health. And one of the things that we know about that is that any one of those issues is often impacted or impacts the other two. We've taken this idea of collective impact very seriously and have really stepped back from the classic fundraising and allocation approach to say, not that that's not important, financial resources are critical to the work we're doing, but how do we apply those resources in more effective ways that actually help us achieve the long-term goals that we're shooting for? And that's why collective impact has been so meaningful for us, is that it often takes a collective approach to develop those kinds of community problem-solving interventions and use the monies that we raise wisely and invest them wisely to produce the results. We've played a number of different roles. I think the role that often we've played, it has been a funder. And in many cases, even when United Ways themselves had the ability to convene, sometimes they decided maybe they weren't ready for that bigger role of convening a large collaborative around change. And they've been comfortable getting into the first step of just funding those works and that effort, which I think has been enormously helpful. Increasingly, as United Ways have become aware of that kind of more convening role they can play, the ability to pull people in to do community problem solving, they've moved into playing that backbone role and really being the backbone for a collective effort in their community. They've taken on the role of, as it relates to backbone, really building more systems around data and data collection, data analysis that allows them to be a very capable backbone. They've also taken on more of an understanding of what it means to lead these kinds of efforts. When you're a convener of it, it very much is a servant leadership model. So it's a very different kind of leadership model than what we've ever had before. So it's how do you lead in the context of serving the community and leading sometimes from behind, but being very much in front of, making sure that the results are achieved, right? We believe very strongly that in order to develop a strong collective impact approach, it's got to combine the hard data of what we know the challenges are, as well as the sort of community knowledge that comes from the voices of people and their aspirations, and bring all of that to the table so that it really truly is a collective approach. One of the ones I mention quite often is one that I think is very exciting and has been noted by the White House Council of Community Solutions and has gotten a lot of recognition for the work, and that's in Milwaukee, where our United Way of Greater Milwaukee, working with public health officials, the school systems, parents, teachers, corporate community, pulling everybody together to work on an issue around teen pregnancy, which is not the easiest issue to tackle. If you're working on an issue of school readiness or middle school success or high school completion, those are ones you can more easily get a lot of people aligned around. The teen pregnancy issue can sometimes be very divisive and be one where everyone can't get agreement on it. I think the magical thing that happened in Milwaukee, though, is that Milwaukee decided that it would tackle the issue. The mayor and public health officials decided that Milwaukee didn't want to be the kind of city that would be recognized as having one of the highest rates of teen pregnancy in the country. And so there was a real sense of urgency to come together around a real plan. And the United Way served as the backbone for that work. And even figured out how to talk to the corporate community about why this was in their best interest and got corporate support for it. Conducted a very, very aggressive social media and public awareness campaign that would elevate the issue of how to avoid risky behavior for young people and help break through all of the many kinds of things that get communicated to young people every day and cause them to kind of zone out on you. They figured out how to break through to young people and get that message through to them with some very interesting and award-winning marketing and awareness building techniques. They really took a very comprehensive approach, involved the schools and how to incorporate the right kinds of elements into the school curriculum so that kids would have the knowledge and the understanding of what they needed to do to protect themselves. All in, They set a goal to reduce teen pregnancy by 45% in 10 years. They reached that goal early. And the most important thing about it is that, and I've said this often, that this collective approach is really more than just about solving the problem. It's about building this kind of civic engagement muscle, this civic community problem-solving confidence that things can be different, that communities can operate collectively and in conjunction with one another and in alignment with each other, maybe in ways that they never could before, but they can do it around an issue where they have shared agreement on an outcome. And this was really proof of that. Well, where I'd like to see collective impact go is that this isn't just a one-off novelty. We're going to do this for a phase of time, and then we'll run off and do the next thing. I've been in this kind of work for many, many years at Fannie Mae, the Fannie Mae Foundation, and have been working in the areas of affordable housing and public health and education for a very long period of time. I don't know of another way of getting to some of our most intractable social challenges if this isn't the way. So I come into this work with that this isn't just the flavor of the month. This is who we have to be at United Way. This is who we have to be. This is who we are. This is what our greatest value can be in communities, is when we enable this kind of civic confidence and capacity to community problem solve with a variety of sectors coming together to work on these things together and sustain progress over the long haul.